This is the trade-in.
This is yours?
This is the trade-in.
That is not a trade-in.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Someone traded this in.
Dude, you're lying.
I'm not lying. Hi, it's David Tracy with the Autopian, and you know what today is? Is it Wednesday? No, it's not. Is it Monday? No, it's not. It's Trade-In Tuesday, the best day of the week. We're at Galpin Premier, where you can see there are cars exclusively for ballers. Ferraris, Rolls Royces, Aston Martins, Jaguars, you name it. Maybe you'd buy a Land Rover Defender. Maybe you'd buy a Jaguar F-Type. But the truth is, if you're the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, you probably don't buy any of those cars. Do you know what LeBron James drives? He drives a 1960s Ford Bronco Restomod. Not unlike that beauty right there, which we're driving today. That's right, trade-in Tuesday. Someone traded in a $200,000 Restomod Ford Bronco. I know it's made by a company called Velocity. There are lots of companies that Restomod these trucks. The Bronco's become the it car for the uber elite. And I'm excited. This is so much nicer than that Dodge Nitro trade-in that with a cutout catalytic converter. This is a step up. Let's see what it's like to drive. Whoa, you see that? Wow. Let's see what's under hood. There may not be an engine bay release. Oh, here it is. Ready? Here we go. Oh, yeah. Keeping it Ford. We got a Ford 5-liter Coyote V8 making probably well over 400 horsepower. These are rated between like 412 to like 460 something. So over 400 horsepower in a 1960s chassis. Oh man, this thing is no question better built than the Bronco was when it first came out of the factory in the 60s. Like there is absolutely, the paint is nicer, the doors latch better. Let's have a look. See this tailgate? You remember those old tailgates are always flappy? Oh, that's interesting. Whoa, that's a satisfying. Look at that. There's absolutely no motion. This thing is extremely nice. We gotta drive it. I can't wait. Let's drive it. All right. Man, that step. It's nice. I mean, I don't need it because I'm not old, but it's cool that it's there. All right, this interior is dope. So this thing's got a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's basically a restored original chassis. It's got a Dana 44 front axle, Ford 9-inch rear axle, so it's like been thoroughly modernized. 2.5-inch lift, big tires, and an amazing interior. Look at this. Oh man, this is nice. A little wobbly, but it's nice quality. Oh, and the old school 60s Ford keys, just like my old Mustang. All right, hold on, wait a sec. There it is, okay. We're gonna take a beautiful drive around Van Nuys, California. This, if you're not from LA, you should know is basically the paradise of Los Angeles. Van Nuys. And if you really, really wanna go somewhere nice, you head a little north, you go to Sun Valley. That is the land of the junkyard. In other words, it's basically home for me. This is a lot of power in a car with the crash test performance of a 60s vehicle. So, I mean, this is basically a death trap. Look at that. Everyone's looking. It's hard not to look. It's bright orange. Woo! That engine just roars. So Velocity, who built this truck, they're out of Pensacola, Florida, and they claim this thing will do 0 to 60 in the low 5s, which, I mean, without question, I believe that. I'm not about to test it, because again, this is a trade-in. Someone's gonna buy it from Galpin. But I do want to make sure the engine gets warm. You know, you want to drive around with a cold engine, you know. The brakes are kind of touchy, but you do get used to them. The steering is buttery. The throttle response is actually phenomenal. You know, the interior, this is like a $200,000 vehicle. The interior is nice, but there's not a whole lot going on here. You know, you've got you've got an old school metal dashboard. You've got a couple of switches. Pull, it says pull. Do you actually pull? No. These are actually really nice. Oh, that's digital. Oh, these are buttons. So it's basically like a faux cassette player kind of thing. And to turn the wipers, that's very odd. Huh. Oh, sick. Oh, there's 3 lights for different speeds. That's nice. Oh, crap. All right, speed 1 I think is off. You've got the OG glove box right here. Well, okay, no you don't. It's basically filled with fuses. You could fit like a stick of gum in there. That's pretty useless. You have this center console, but it doesn't latch, which I don't get, because if you take it off-road, this is just gonna, like, with an open-top car, you need something that locks. I'm not sure I quite understand this. Why would this not be a lockable? That I don't get, but whatever. No one cares, because listen to this. Oh, man. I feel like the 1%. You know, this being an old Bronco, the gauges on old cars are a little different. The gauges, you know, typically you're used to seeing the speedometer and the fuel gauge kind of through this window here in your steering wheel, right? On this old car, and on a number of old cars, the gauges are in the dashboard down low. And this one is especially interesting because it's all a singular gauge. It's like a gauge within a gauge. And it's down here on the left. You really can't even see how fast you're going. It's pretty, and actually it doesn't even work. It says I'm going 130 miles an hour, so that's just as well I can't see it anyway. Man, I have to say though, the controls, like the shifter and the turn signal, they feel so like positive and solid. Like, you know, typically when you shift a column shifter, you're basically like a teenager on, like, you know, prom night. You're just really just fumbling, just trying to figure out what goes where. It's sloppy. It's just not good. But on this thing, it's very clear. Clear notches. Feels high quality. There's a new Bronco right there. Hey, Bronco, you're trying to be me. I mean, that's what it's trying to do. Let's be real. Hey, look, it's a new G-Wagon. It's also trying to be a vintage off-roader. It's the same thing with the new Defender. All of these new, and the Wrangler is kind of a classic case of that. Wrangler, Bronco, Defender, G-Wagon, all these brand new vehicles are trying to be what this thing actually is, which is a vintage off-road machine with modern amenities. You get into those cars I just named, and it doesn't really feel that vintage. We're not kidding anyone. Everything's plastic. The dash is plastic. It's not as visceral. This is what those cars want to be. But of course, they drive way better than this does. So, I mean, it's a trade-off. I have to hand it to Velocity. You know, I don't know anything about them. I don't know who their engineers are. But, you know, typically you can't just take an engine and transmission and bolt them together and put them in a car and expect it to work well. You have to tune it. You got to make sure it all works well together, that the shift schedule is right, that the throttle mapping is all right. It's complicated, but this actually feels exactly like you hoped they would feel when you looked at the car for the first time. You know, when I looked at this thing, I was like, man, I really hope when I press that pedal, that 10-speed knows what to do. And it absolutely does. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so bad at the same time. I'm absolutely in love. Son of a... There we go. Man, this Restomod Ford Bronco. What I love about this car, this truck, is that it's It is not a great vehicle in most objective ways. The ride is terrible. The fuel economy is almost certainly terrible. It's loud. It doesn't handle well. It is not a great car, but as a car enthusiast, that's what makes me so excited about this. Because you know the reason why people love it so much, why they pay so much for it, it's because of what's inside. It's this visceral feel to it. It's of course the looks, but it's about how it makes you feel. It's about the sound. It is a true enthusiast car, and yeah, it's absolutely epic. And would I spend $200,000 on it? I don't know. I've never been that rich before. Anyway, I'm gonna keep ripping it. Listen to this. Not the fan. The engine. Oh, this thing's got me acting like a fool.